All right, hey everybody. Here we are. First real day of building the RV-10. Spent a little time last night with it and tried out the new bandsaw to cut a couple of things for the first steps. So I guess my intention for these videos, just give everybody a forewarning. I know there's tons of videos out that people going through step by step in these books, showing all the process, step by step, and I'm not really trying to do that. I don't have that intention. There's plenty of that out there if that's what you're looking for. You can find that elsewhere. So I'm mainly just doing this to document some of the activities daily that I'm working on for FAA repairman certificate on the plane when it's done. And also, I know a lot of, as I've mentioned previously, I've worked on cars quite a bit over the years. I was a professional race mechanic for some road racing series, sports car racing, and did that for quite a while. Now I work for Volvo Trucks here in Greensboro and project manager over there. So I still in the automotive scene and just thinking what I can take from that to help out with this, what new things I have to learn for aircraft assembly that I may not have known before. So luckily I have some good friends to kind of bounce things off of and shoot pictures. Does this look right? Does this not look right? Did I completely screw this part up? Do I need to replace it? That sort of thing. So my intention is to just kind of hit some of the items for uploading to YouTube that maybe things I haven't seen people cover before, just little things, the way I'm approaching a couple of the kind of tricky areas and whatnot. So starting off, first step last night was page 6.2 in the manual, and step 1 is to trim these reinforcement angles that go on the vertical stabilizer spar. So there's a you measure up and then make a mark here, make a mark down here, straight line that, trim away the excess. So one of the things that I've immediately noticed is the fact that using a bandsaw, and try as I might to use a guide to make it as straight a cut as possible, it's still, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's definitely still a little bit wavy. This isn't something that you want to just go hard at with some aggressive abrasive pads to take off too much material. So I'm trying to inch edit to get it where I need it, but this would be fine, I'm sure of it. There's no structural kind of point to this. It's kind of a weight savings thing from what I'm being told. You have to drill also all of these holes where this attaches to the spar, and if you'll notice, the holes are supposed to stop right here, and that is the point at which you start trimming. So there's really just excess material. There's no no minimum thickness here, wall thickness here that you have to kind of abide by to drill holes on farther down. It's just trimming it away for aesthetics, weight, whatever you want to call it. So the way I'm going about it now, that it's kind of down to the final trimming. So I've got my light here and kind of setting that up on my work table behind me, and kind of using a Sharpie to lay this flat on my bench, and then I can see where the light's shining through, that's showing me the high spots and the low spots where there is no light. So I'm just going through shading a little bit of the areas that looks like need to be smoothed down a little bit where you can't see any light. So the goal is ultimately this lays flat and no light shines through. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Going to be accomplishing that with just angle die grinder. Going to work on that. So obviously that's noisy and messy, so I don't want cameras out to get shavings all over it, and noisy. So I'll kind of do that off camera and then come back to you guys and let you see how it turned out. Also, I'm having to work on, after I drilled all those holes, I had to go through deburr everything. So I'm sure you guys already know that. But so that's done, and I'm about to the point where I need to remove the bluing off of the other side of this so that I can properly deburr. And if there's any dimpling involved, you don't want to have the skin on for that. So I know there's a lot of back and forth about to take the trim off, to leave the trim on. My kind of goal, my opinion of that is the plane is going to be painted. Now, that being said, you need to be mindful of how you're handling these parts. You're not banging it into anything and putting deep gashes in it. But if you're doing that, this ain't going to help you. So for me, it's all going to get scuffed up for prime. Even the outer skins are going to get scuffed before they paint. So really, people spend a lot of time with soldering irons trimming this just off the edges and leaving the main parts still covered. I probably won't be doing that. I'm just going to take it off and be careful with it. And I know it's going to get minor little scratches and whatnot, but nothing that's going to be any deeper than what is going to be put there by scuffing it up before priming, painting for the external pieces as well. So, and if you do get stuff that's more than that, then like I said, this stuff's not going to help you. So trick for that is, especially now, it's wintertime, it's cold, this stuff gets hard, gets brittle. Especially if you have a kit that's been sitting a while, you bought it secondhand from somebody, or you bought it, it's been several years, it's been sitting in your garage, and now you're just getting started on it. One thing that makes things really easy on this is trusty heat gun. Hair dryer, anything will work, but you just kind of get back and lightly go over this and just get some warmth in it, get some warmth in the metal. This stuff becomes really pliable, and all the adhesive kind of loosens up, and it comes off with no residue. It doesn't tear, so you don't have a bunch of little sharp pieces to try to pick off with your fingers, whatever. So that's where I'm going to be at today. I'm going to continue on, finish step 1 and step 2 last night. So that entailed, putting this together, getting these trimmed, clamping these into these channels here on both sides, and then had to go through and drill, match drill, whatever you want to call that. This did not have holes in it at all, so you had to, just completely put those holes in it. But all that's done. So a little trimming here, a little more deburring. Good airplane builder friend of mine built an RV-4. Really gave me some. Obviously I know when it comes to things like these corners, we're rounding those off before anything's finally assembled or primed or anything. So we're going to get all these corners, no sharp edges. But one thing that he was kind of said that I don't know that a lot of people, most people don't do, but he just kind of mentioned that even when you shear a piece of sheet aluminum, as smooth as it may feel to the touch, you kind of go in, if you look at it really closely, especially under magnifying glass, you still see little jagged edges there. So he's kind of said you can do it if you want to. I did it. It may have been a little bit anal and it may be overkill, but he's like, I hit every single edge with Scotch-Brite, even if it's a sheared or punched edge, just to make sure you get everything completely smooth. So when these surfaces, if you got anything that mates up against each other, probably not a big deal, but just the smoother it is, obviously the better. So that's going to be today's project, kind of finishing this up and kind of getting it everything final there. Then it looks like I'm going to be starting with a couple of the rudder hinge installation. So you got a couple of different sizes of hinges that go, in various places on the tail. I mean, on the spar here. So those kind of sit one beside the other, and then when they're put together, you end up with a nice double shear point for your heim joints. And yep, and that's going to be today's activity. So catch you guys a little bit later.